We are up here in the grow room today in our pajamas on a Monday morning to get a couple more trays of seeds started for this year's garden. I have the majority of things going already. Squash, summer squash, winter squash, some pumpkins, zucchini, peppers, sweet peppers, some hot peppers, tomatoes, and like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, things like that. But today I wanted to do a few more varieties of tomatoes and a tray of flowers. So let's get to it. For tomato varieties today, we have some of the red cherry large. I also have some mingle mix tomatoes. I also have the rest of some pink girl tomatoes and then some good old beefsteak tomatoes. For the flowers, we have hollyhock seeds that I have saved from last year and the year before, along with some marigold seeds from a couple years ago. We're gonna do half a tray of marigold and half a tray of the hollyhock. We had a very busy year last year, so I felt like I really did not pour my heart and soul into the garden as much as I would have liked. It kind of took a toll last year. A little neglected. It's looking very similar to what I did the first year that I started seeds. Now I think this is the third year I'm starting seeds, fourth year having a garden, so we will see how things go this year. Lots of tomatoes, a few peppers. We'll see if broccoli, cauliflower, all those things work out. The past couple of years, the bunnies and the deer seem to take most of that out. I am double seeding a lot of these just because if one doesn't sprout, I have a 50-50 chance in each individual cell. Before I get any farther, I am going to label these just because I don't want to get this tray rotated and then I haven't labeled it and I've forgotten what is where. I mean, it's probably not that big of a deal, but usually once everything's out of this room and down on the patio kind of hardening off, or I've taken it down to start planting, everything goes out the window and it just kind of goes where I want it to. There were about half the amount of seeds in the beefsteak package as there are in this cherry tomato package. And once we get wrapped up here, I will show you all of the exciting things that have already happened in just a week. I had my potting mix in the garage since the end of last season. Decided this year I wanted to start seeds in the basement just because it would be a little bit warmer than the garage. It would keep my kitchen clean because the past couple of years I have started seeds in the kitchen and I just didn't want to go through all the cleaning again this year. A lot easier of a cleanup. It just was a bit more of an exercise. Up 2 flights of stairs, full trays. They're not too heavy, but so I did that in the basement this year. And the soil had picked up moisture from, I assume, being in the garage and then coming inside once it thawed because it was frozen outside. When I started things last week, I had really nice moist soil. Everything is still moist, damp, not soaked, not saturated, but certainly not dry. Nothing fancy here for what I use to start seeds. The biggest investment I have made so far have probably been the grow lights, which I did that the first year I started seeds, so this is my third season now using them. I think I've got my money's worth out of it. And I did buy all the seed trays. Those are from the Bootstrap Farmer. I believe I found them on Amazon. That was another investment. Otherwise, really basic, just hardware store, potting mix, seeds online or from the hardware store, the dollar store. I do have a chopstick that I use to poke the seed down into the cell, cover it up with my finger. I don't mind having dirty, messy hands, but it does make it nicer when it's not as dirty inside. I don't mind the mess outside. Okay, and just like that, we have a whole tray of tomatoes planted with 4 different varieties. Now we are on to our flowers. So if we're gonna do half, that's gonna be up until here. 6 and 6. Yes. Since I already dropped some marigold seeds, I will start on this side with the marigolds. I had tried growing both of these last year, and I think there was there was really poor germination on both varieties. I feel like I maybe was able to get one little plug of marigolds planted, and I did get one seedling of the hollyhock out, although I don't know if it's gonna make it through the winter. So I guess we'll all find out this year if that worked. As for the marigolds, I think it was just that one little plug that made it, and I feel like it didn't survive once it was outside. So we'll see if there's better luck this year. Marigolds are good for kind of a natural pest repellent. I think they're pretty. I think they're cute little things. They don't necessarily smell the greatest, but again, natural pest repellent. I think they're cute. We have the space, so why not? I think hollyhock seeds are so cool. They remind me of, I forget what they're called, but they're those like prehistoric shells. Or they look like a shell. They're just kind of cool. This variety, I don't know what the color is or what the name is. Well, I don't know what the name is because it was already here when we moved in. But it is a really pretty pink color. As you can see, I have some helpers today. They are very interested in anything that goes on up in this room. I keep the door shut when I'm not in here, so when it is open, it's just a free-for-all. If you take a peek at my seed starting video from last year, they're also very popular guest stars in there as well. I also invested, I think they were maybe $23, $25 on Amazon, a 2-pack of heat mats. There's one variety of peppers I started this year that require warmer temperatures. I have direct sunlight most of the day up in this room. It is kind of overcast and rainy today, but most of the time it is nice and bright up here. I have the grow lights. I felt like there was maybe enough natural heat that I didn't need those, but I wanted to give the seeds the best chance this year and get heat mats for that specific variety. I don't know if these are 2 varieties that would be good for, but I have an extra heat mat, so I might try them. If nothing comes of it, give it a week or 2 and nothing has sprouted, I have plenty more seed. I can reseed and not use a heat mat, and we'll see what happens then too. Maybe it's just bad seed. They are a little old.
I don't know if my seeds truly are bad. I did have poor germination on quite a few things last year, so the thought had crossed my mind that maybe I had some bad seed. I know there's a way to check your bean and your pea seeds by soaking them overnight in water, and I think it's the floaters that are considered not a good seed.
I had said this in a previous video. My vision for this year's garden, or expectation, is that it will look something very similar to what it looked like the first year I started seeds, when I started way too much and I had things everywhere. It was so green, it was so lush. It was a lot of fun. I want to try that. I want to go for that same kind of production, aesthetic, feeling this year, because it was an absolutely golden, beautiful summer that first year I started seeds. It was the year before too. That was our first year in this house, and our first summer in this house. That was so much fun. I'm hoping this year we can kind of give it a round 2. Garden investment that I want to make. I want to get a couple green stalks. I had bought one, again, I think it was that first year I started seeds. I was so excited. I bought so many things. I had bought this knockoff green stalk thinking that it was just as tall, and the one I had bought off Amazon was maybe 18 inches tall. It was kind of a joke. Served me well, but I would like to invest in one of the legit branded ones. We'll see. Okay, and then just like that, we have a whole nother tray started. This one is all the flowers. All right, everything has been refreshed with a little bit of water, and now I wanted to show everything that I have started. So you can see the broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, all those seeds kind of got mixed together, so that's a mixed bag of whatever's in those rows. The rest of the tray, I have a couple varieties of tomatoes, and they're all, I think most of everything should be sprouted. I did kind of double seed a lot of these cells, so I will have to go through and pick and choose. This whole tray is golden zucchini squash. So I have a bunch of those that are making their way to the surface. I have one singular poblano start. I just had a couple leftover seeds that I wanted to use up. And then the rest of these are red warty pumpkins. So we'll see how those turn out. And then this whole tray, those far three are watermelon. The seeds were gifted to me a few years ago, so this was kind of a last-ditch effort to see if they do anything. And then everything else right in the front here, let's see, it's all butternut squash and spaghetti squash. There's a couple random spaghetti squash, but most of it's butternut. This is the tray of flowers we just did, the marigolds and hollyhock. This is the tray of tomatoes that we just did. On one of my heat mats here, I have peppers coming up. That should be, let's see here, I believe they are banana peppers and pequeño peppers. They're like this little popping crunchy pepper. They're pretty good. Right here, another tray of peppers. None of these have come up yet. Oh, here are my banana peppers. Mini sweet peppers, banana peppers. These are the pequeño peppers. So we have lots of things started. I think I did the last round of seed starting today. Everything else that I want to start seed-wise will probably be when it's warmer out, when we're not freezing overnight, when we're good to go. So I hope you enjoyed hanging out, listening to me ramble and rant a little bit. There's a lot more to come. There's a lot more progress to be made, and I'm hoping lots of exciting things to come this summer. So I hope you'll stick around, or at least consider coming back to see what happens out in the garden. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.